So as a banker and as someone who's across all these markets, the world is, standing back watching where every leader gets out of bed in the morning now and probably reads the paper or reads their phone in 30 seconds of what's Donald Trump done. Okay, so the game's changed somewhat. On economic theory and policy, bearing in mind he's got a pretty good secretary that he brought in as well. What do you think of the long-term strategy? Is he going to get caught out between the lag of investment to turn to returns, or is he going to get enough investment and confidence in to get the markets for him going the right way? Like, what are you just standing back looking at it? What are your thoughts?
I think it's hard. I mean, I don't know, right? I think it's clear what they're trying to do,
Yeah,
right? And I would characterize it as clearly bring massive industrial investment into the economy, right, at scale.
yeah,
And part of that is employment, part of that is security of supply chains, but I think there's a second aim that Scott Bessent is definitely trying to do, which is to lower the price of the 10-year bond.
yeah,
And that's both short and long term. Short-term imperative is I think they've got $8-9 trillion that they have to refinance this year. And doing that at 3.5 versus 4.5, creates enormous value to the US economy.
yeah,
But medium term, having that 10-year somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 actually helps the industrial investment proposal. And by that, I mean tariffs give the incentive, right? It's the stick.
yeah,
The carrot is if you're modeling building an industrial plant for Toyota, and it's going to take you 5 to 7 years to build.
yeah,
You're running your DCF Excel spreadsheet. You're putting in a price of the 10-year bond. You're going to borrow that money in US dollars.
yeah.
The output of that IRR is completely different at 2.5 versus 4.5.
Sure.
Right? So I think it's very clear what they're trying to do. The problem is whether it's intentional, whether it's not, there's enormous volatility at the moment. Because they're putting on tariffs, then they took them off, then they put them on again.
Yep.
They probably put tariffs on a much broader set of countries than anyone expected. They're talking about trade deals
Yep.
daily. What is my sort of glass half full view is that they do announce 2 or 3 trade deals with major industrial countries.
Well, that's got to be the plan, surely, to
Yeah.
goodness, right? That's all.
India, South Korea,
Yeah.
Japan,
Yep.
in the next 60 days.
Yep.
I think if those are genuinely attractive deals that demonstrate that it's not just theory, that they can pull off trade deals that actually support that agenda, then I think markets might start to react. If they don't, then I think it's going to remain volatile. But I would like to think that they are going to do that. Where I think they're spot on is it is a massive market. For certain industrial companies, it isn't optional. They can't say, okay, we're not going to sell into the US.
Yep.
So they're going to have to find a way. And, what they're saying is quite simple. You build a factory, you don't pay tariffs, right? So
you can go back to your incentive strategy again.
yeah. So that, but the second thing is even as individuals, right? People can say, look, I'm really worried about the States. I'm really unhappy. I'm going to not hold so many dollars. I'm not going to invest. There's no country in the world on a risk-adjusted basis, even today, where you could put as much capital in as the US. Where are you going to put it? Right?
Exactly right.
China, Japan, France, UK, right? So, at the end of the day, a lot of this is on all sides negotiation, because where are the biggest companies in most industries? The US.
Yep.
Where are the most liquid markets in the world? The US.
US. Yep.
Right. So I know people sort of say this is the break that will change everything. I just think if you're an Indonesian billionaire, your biggest investments are in Indonesia. When you're looking around the world, are you suddenly going to go, oh, I'm short the US, I'm going to put everything into Austria?
Don't
I
think
mean,
so.
that is not happening, right? Whatever people say.